Benedict from Benedict Photography. Welcome to our channel. Alright, this is going to be my second video for this channel, and one of our purpose when we put up this channel, oh my god, there goes another channel, is to be a helping hand to those people starting out in photography. Because as you may know, when I started photography, YouTube is one of my tools as well in learning my own craft. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video that we made for you. You don't have to purchase anything, you don't have to donate any amount of money. All we want from you guys is your devotion and your time in learning and exploring your craft too. Okay, so the very basic knowledge you have to have in photography is your exposure triangle. It comprises of three factors: your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture. Now we want you to consider these three factors as superheroes. You know why? Because they have their own strengths and weaknesses at the same time. Alright, now let's dive into shutter speed. What is shutter speed? Shutter speed is how fast the opening and the closing of your shutter curtain in order for the light to come into your camera. Alright? Strengths of the shutter speed: its ability to freeze fast motion, especially if you're shooting, if you're into sports or events. It might help, cranking up your shutter speed. For some instance, for sports, around 500, 1/500 of a second would do. And that depends on the sports you're trying to capture. Alright, now, second strength of your shutter speed is the ability to manage camera shake. If, for example, you have shaky hands, chances are you crank up your shutter speed and that's going to be your friend forever. And of course, all of these factors that we're talking about has something to do with exposure of light. So shutter speed has a tendency to give you a correct exposure set into the proper shutter number or shutter speed number. Weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of shutter speed would be motion blur. And this happens when your subject is fast and you have a slow shutter speed. Chances are your camera can't cope up how fast your subject is, so you get a blurry subject. But then again, if you change it to black and white, you can call it art photography. Alright, now of course, same goes with the shaky hands. If you have shaky hands and you have a slower shutter speed, chances are you get a blurry subject, and along the way you're gonna have like tons of black and whites in order for you to call it art photography. Okay, now third weakness of your shutter speed is its ability to overexpose or underexpose your photos. Alright, okay, now let's talk about your aperture right here. This bad boy right here. There you go. The bigger your aperture is, the more light coming into your camera. But the softer your background would be. And when you close down your aperture, the sharper your subject and your background, but then again you have less light coming into your camera. So you have to sacrifice one way or another. Alright, so strengths of your aperture, of course, how much light coming into your camera. Weaknesses in a smaller number, chances are most of the time, but not all the time, your picture will be softer than if you are at f8. Okay. All right. Now, weaknesses of your aperture. Weaknesses of aperture is if you're not trained to using shallow depth of field or large aperture like this. Depth of field is how much your subject will be in focus. If you're not trained for that, chances are you get the tip of the nose sharper than the eyes and the ears, and that's going to be a bad photo for you, and that's another black and white photo for you. But if you want to look your photos like those, professional looking photos, this right here is responsible for that, blurring your background, but then again your subject is sharper. Okay, now for the last factor, that is your ISO, is the ability of your sensor to absorb light. Okay, strength is of course if you are in a dark room or in a dark area wherein you have to take photos and you have already exhausted your shutter speed to the point wherein you get a blurry picture if you lower down your shutter speed more, and you already open up your aperture as big as you can, and still there isn't enough light lighting your subject. That's where your ISO comes in. Alright, now the weaknesses of ISO: it introduces digital noise in your photo. You'll see that millions of dots in your photos. Some of it will be rainbow colored, especially on the shadow area, and it tends to make your picture softer, and it introduces artifacts in your picture. But then again, hey, you are the artist, you know what to do. Sometimes we have to sacrifice one of those factors to get a proper picture and to get the emotion in the picture. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe, like, or comment, whatever it is that you want, but please do subscribe. Thank you, you have a nice day, and happy shooting. Bye-bye.